Thank the Seven. Lucia, it's the Source Hunter. We're not going to die on this haunted cliff after all.
Who's dying? We're just resting up. The calm before the storm. Those ghosties at the lighthouse won't know what hit them. There's certainly something fishy happening. The light shines sure as the tides, though there's not been an attendant there for nearly 2 decades. Our platoon made a pact with Selenia. We'd check out the lighthouse, and if we made it back, we'd get a ticket home.
What Selenia failed to mention was that it wasn't just the ghosts at the lighthouse we had to worry about. It was every savage skeleton on the way there and back too. When we started, we were 7. Now, Lucia and I are the last alive.
Survival of the fittest, I say. We're just here marshalling our strength before hauling into that lighthouse with our swords blazing.
Ha! Marshalling our strength indeed. To be honest, we've been shaking like chihuahuas, praying for a way out of this mess. And it seems the 7 have sent you.
Ah, Malleus, your dignity's in a puddle at your feet. As for me, an honourable soldier and servant to Rivellon, I'm not afraid to ask nicely. So, what do you say, Source Hunter? Will you check out the lighthouse in the name of your comrades in arms? If Selenia sees the place cleared, we'll be on the next ship out to Sicil and back to our families.
You'll go to the lighthouse and straighten matters out, yes? Let us know what you find.
What's the matter? Scared of a few ghosts? We're giving them a chance to say their prayers before we send them back to their makers. And when we're through with them, they'll stay dead.
You'll go to the lighthouse and straighten matters out, yes? Let us know what you find.
The further we go, the more bodies we find.
We must be closing in on where they were headed.
making it rich!
These walls, my home, my hell.
What's this? I found something.
Died, but my guilt lives on and on. These walls, my home, my hell. I may have died, but my guilt lives on and on. What's this? Living eyes that can see the shape of death? Avert your gaze, wanderer, for you are looking upon the phantom of a murderer. Samson was my name, a long time ago. I know not why, upon my death, I became a ghost, doomed to haunt this tower. Perhaps the gods heard of my crime, and stripped me of my rightful place in their eternal realm. If so, their punishment was just. Each night, I wake the flame in the lighthouse, to repent for my wretched sin. That indeed is the tainted title I must bear, and deservedly so. For 15 years ago to the day, it was that I sat atop my lighthouse, the flame unlit, and watched on as a pitiable ship crashed upon the cliff and got devoured by greedy waves. Deliberately had I forgone to do my duty. Willfully did I condemn every soul aboard to a salty sleep on the bed of an indifferent sea. Why did I commit this act of blackest horror? Jealousy, anger, the bitter anguish of a broken heart. Those are the ancient ills that drove me to madness. Desdemona was on board, as I knew she would be. My wife, the delicate beauty of whom I was sure, was betraying me with her friend, the dashing Faladar. Possessed as I was by the demons of envy, ire, and torment, I decided that if I had her love no longer, only death could take her for his mistress. And so I sat here, coldly and calmly, as I delivered them both unto the deep. Yet no sooner had the water closed its spuming jaws around the perishing vessel below, that the extent of my offense dawned on my beleaguered mind. Overcome with guilt, I sought escape through the hangman's noose, but rest was not to come. Skeletons roam the lands, restless as my troubled soul, but shall not find their lair here. Some scuttle by now and again, but most of the time I reside here in solitude. Solitude and silence.
Another betrayed soul. It is weakness that he weeps for her.
Dearest,
Her death was deserved.
I
Deserve
see
a death.
your eyes before
Good
me
for the
still.
fine people of
The
Sicile
ship,
that you're not the keeper of the
waves,
lighthouse then.
The cold, wild sea. And I, the maniac in the darkened lighthouse. Oh, folly. Oh, grievous sin.
Quite a story that ghost had to tell. Not every day one hears about a lighthouse keeper sinking ships just because his wife proved to be unfaithful. I don't know if I agree with that. There's no denying he did evil, but who has never been driven to desperation by the pangs of love lost?
I'm not going any closer.
Come now. We've got to show these spooks the meaning of leave.
How did it go? Don't spare any details. We need to make a full report to the lieutenant.
Indeed. Now there's a story worthy of an audience.
So, let me get this straight. There's a ghost inside operating the lighthouse, and you managed to do away with the bad beasties at the base of the thing. Whew, sounds like a job well done.
And I'm sure Selenia will be thrilled to hear we did it. Another triumph for Legion Daring Do. And if this doesn't buy us a ticket home, nothing will.
I need a moment to reflect.
Those as giving as you are rare and exquisite as rubies. What a pleasure to behold you.
Steady, boys, steady. We'll be leaving as soon as we're packed up.
Plenty of fish in the sea, but I've got the foulest of the lot on my racks.
I should have done this from the very start.
Slimy, reeking, rotting sea garbage. Plenty of fish in the sea, but I've got the foulest of the lot on my back.
Lay the big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff.
Watch the undead quiver in their mouldy boots. Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
On the move.
What? Oh, it's you! What news? What? You found it? Oh, this is excellent news. Where is it then? Give it here.
Careful that it doesn't wind up in the wrong hands again, Mr. Mayor.
Wonderful! Oh, it's simply wonderful! Come, come. You must let me thank you somehow. I've got it. A 3 months honorary membership to the Sicil Library. Well, I suppose as much as any other Thaddeus, Rich, or Harold, a shameful spot upon the history of Rivellon, that brute. As loath as I am to admit it, Sicil was once quite a hub of the despot's supporters. Some even say his corpse was cast beneath the foundations of the abandoned church in the northeastern cliff. An old wives' tale, I say, but I suppose one never knows for sure. Wait here, I'll get my beekeeper's suit. Oh, wait! Oh, yes, the Fabulous Five. I thought you said the treacherous. Well, never mind. They just informed me that they cleared the cave of all undead presence, so I gave them the reward as promised. They just left town. The rest of the world needs saving too. Oh, they truly are fabulous. Oh, she's a dear girl indeed. She's got a little cabin in the Cooler Forest, not so far to the north of here, in fact. And though she doesn't make it into Sicil often, it's a comfort to know she's keeping the watch near our border. I hope she hasn't got mixed up in all this ugly business with the Counselor.
By Shadow World Shaper, this bedeviled staff has cost us time in spades. Can we please attend to more urgent matters?
Hello again, adventurer. I hope you wiped those muddy boots on your way in. You say you met him? Was he well? Did he look hungry to you? Cold? Was he eating enough vegetables? Did he wash his hands before supper? Oh, please, you must tell me everything you know.
Yes, it's a bitter truth, but one we can't conscionably keep to ourselves.
I can't. That's impossible. You must be mistaken. Tom was a daring boy, but an adroit one too. Check your facts before you spread such horrible lies. Tom's alive. Do you hear me?
Muscle you! Scrolls to entussle you!
Drink and gamble. That's all we do around here. Hope you...
Well, look what the cat dragged in. Good to see you. My brave troops were just telling me how they proudly vanquished the undead near the lighthouse. Did you get to witness my valiant soldiers in action?
Excuse me? We are talking about the same heroes here, right? You should be ashamed of yourself, letting those slackers reap a reward they haven't earned.
All right, we'll do it your way.
What in the hells is the meaning of this, Legionnaires? You cowered from your duty, yet tried to claim the reward. Despicable! Unworthy of the Legion. Lieutenant, it's just... All the others had already perished. We feared for our lives. Hold your lying tongues. To the kitchens with the pair of you. You'll peel bloody potatoes till you die of monotony. Go! Go! Divines doubly bless you, friend. So I did. The Pact of Volunteers. Many Legionnaires will do whatever it takes to go home, which is why I personally sign their transfer orders the moment they make it back from a mission behind enemy lines. The chances of survival during these sorties are only about 1 in 10, you see. So my soldiers are free to volunteer, and if they are successful, they just bought themselves a boat ride home. They must come from somewhere, from some vile source. I could make a feeble pun about your hunting for said source, but no. The undead are no laughing matter. All I can ask is that you don't give up on us. We need you. I shall be very glad to share what information I can give you. By all means. I'll grant you that the 2 survivors of that expedition were a bit cowardly, but I can hardly blame them. Everyone wants to go home, even if that means indulging in deception. My Legionnaires, they all perished? How fate has treated them wantonly. And if it weren't for you, the archaeologist would surely have died as well. He has much to be thankful for. Were that I had. Churches have churchyards, and churchyards attract necromancers. So goes the sinister logic.
Sorry, sir.
Source Hunter, welcome, welcome. By all means. I can't say much more, but that they're madmen. All the more dangerous to us because of their alliance with what should be a natural enemy. You won't see me teaming up with a terrier in a hurry. And what might those be? So the Sparkmaster 5000 has been reduced to scrap, has it? A shame, really. But if your actions saved lives, I suppose you may consider its demise a success. Oh, a mere trifle for one with the intellect of a feline and the engineering skills of a human?
You, again. Do feel free to depart from Seal at your earliest convenience. So, let me get this straight. There are insidious sorcerers running about town that turned a council ambassador into a zombie for sport, after said councillor was murdered by some mystery witch who subsequently trotted off to her cabin in Luculla Woods. Sure you haven't omitted relevant details like, flying brooms, black cats, and bloody pentagrams? By Belagar's nethers. Sounds like a fantasy tale mothers tell their children before bed. And I bet none of it's more than fantasy either. Though no doubt Ahu puts stock in your every word. Anyway, be these truths, half-truths, or outright lies, it seems to me your business in Seal is concluded. Don't let the undead hit you on the way out. You, again. So, let me get this straight. There are insidious sorcerers by Anyway, be these truths, half-truths, or... if you must. What more is there to say? She clearly was in league with the sect that's been unsettling Seal, so now that she's dead, all the better. Hopefully, though, it has dawned on you that a sect implies multiple adherents. The search continues. Now, I don't see how my mother-in-law is any of your business, Hunter. Seriously, though, I doubt information given by the zombified remains of a councillor is to be trusted. But then again, you do take the advice of cat wizards, too. I heard she has a cottage in the forest north of the city. I'm sure it's made of gingerbread and you'll find the remains of eaten children. So off you trot in chase of fairy tale fiends. I'd say they're looking for weak spots in our defenses. They can't make an attack over land for fear of Ahu's magical machines, so they're trying their luck by sea. They won't succeed, though. Not against the Legion. Yes, and he also spends most of his time in the guise of a cat, licking God's knows which body parts. Sects, sorcerers. He'll be seeing flying carpets next. What'd you take me for? An ignoramus? That accursed name rings a goddamn Carillion. He was the last Sorcerer King, a frightful warrior that fell dozens before finally being slain by the army that had risen against him. We may well stand on unholy ground right now, for they say his remains were buried in what is now Cyseal, the Mad King from Mad City.
Attention! About face! To the barracks! Not! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! Those booted in Paris are Bridgeport. Get the shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Those booted in Paris are Bridgeport. Get the shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Attention! About face! To the barracks! Notch! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! Those boots in Paris are Bridgeport. Get the shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Thank the Seven, we've secured the perimeter.
I can't even smell the sea air over this rock.
Still thinking about exploring the beach? You're free to go, though we Legionnaires are under strict orders never to abandon our posts, so we won't be able to back you up. Certainly, though it's a shame we can't lend you our swords on your expedition.
I should have done this from the very start.
The Sicilians retreated from this battle, but what about the orcs?
Either they've taken to the sea or set up an encampment in yonder caves. Keep your weapon at the ready.
Oh, hello! What have we here? An adventurer, I judge, by the world-weary look of
your weapon, and a noble by the wonderfully deep pockets clipped to your belt. What luck! What luck! Charla is my name, good friend. I came to this second life some time ago. Some years? Years it must be. Or perhaps not. In any case, it has been time well spent hunting out magnificent goods and selling them to interested parties. So many wonderful artifacts I've found, so many precious relics I'd be so happy to rehome to a trusted buyer. Have a look by all means. You'll find every make and kind of impressive accessories, but you'll also find certain very rare relics too. You look like just the sort of self-starter to appreciate what I mean. Weapons, 4 of them, that the intrepid adventurer can improve and upgrade as he travels if he finds the right pieces. See them? See them? Judge for yourself. Goodbye then, good friend. Goodbye. That is, unless you fancy a glance at some of my wonderful goods. Yes, good friend. I'm quite busy finding for the moment, but if there's something you'd like to buy, I could set all that aside for a few delicious moments. Goodbye then, good friend. Yes, good friend. I'm quite busy finding for the moment, but if there's something you'd like to buy, I could set all that aside for a few delicious moments. good friend. Goodbye.
Good brother.
Well, what's this I've spotted?
Away with your weapons! Away! Leave Humble Hawk to mourn in peace. I don't want to fight. I ain't after no fancy stone. I just want to bury these bodies the traditional way. It's the least I could do for my dear brother, Oggy. Oh, he was such a dear lad, he was. We wanted to see the world, but we saw next to nothing before he was called to serve the All Mother in the afterlife. In our village, oh, poor Oggy will never see her again. But tradition goes that a warrior should be buried with his best armor so he can defend himself in the afterlife. There weren't so many spoils after the battle, but I managed to give old Oggy the best set. A proud send-off for a proud soldier.
Absolutely not. It isn't worth causing that orc so much grief for little more than some sheets of metal. Pity so becomes you, my dear partner. You become ever more lovely when you take mercy on vulnerable souls.
No, we'll do as I say.
You want the location of Oggy's grave? Now what use could you have for that, small bones? Keep bothering about it, and I may have to call over my friends from up the beach to deal with you.
Hand me my shovel.
First one to strike gold buys dinner.
I've spotted something interesting.